We are now moving in to the speaker portion, and our first speaker is Prue, and he is going to be giving his international speech that he's practicing for the contest so that we can give him tips about it. The title of his speech is "A Lucky Man at a Bachelor Party." Prue. You're muted.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, raise your hands if you have ever attended a bachelor or bachelorette party. Well, I can see we have some people that have. Now, I don't know what kind of party you went to, but in my experience, there are three types. There is a PG, an R, and an X. This story is about the last bachelor party I ever attended. It was for my future brother-in-law, John, who was marrying my younger sister, Patty. The party started out by having a little basketball tournament. I thought that was a little odd, but John and his friends were about 15 years younger than I was, and all athletes in high school or college. John had actually been a tight end for the Holy Cross football team and was about 6'7". I was 39 and not in the greatest shape, but very competitive. They broke us up into two-person teams, and we played till 21. I was partnered with Chuck. Chuck and I played 3 games and ended up winning the John's Bachelor Party Championship. The problem was, after each game, I would come off the court winded, and it would take longer to recover each time. The last time, the hyperventilating did not stop. After about 5 minutes, I told my brother Jake, who came with me, to go with John to his house for the barbecue, and I would go home, rest, and catch up with them later. Then I got in my car, and I'm still hyperventilating. On the way home, I drive by 3 hospitals: Salem, J.B. Thomas, and Leahy Clinic. But I don't think I need to stop there. Then I think maybe having a cigarette will calm my breathing down. So I light one up. That doesn't help. I'm still hyperventilating when I get home, and my wife is getting ready to leave for the bachelorette party with my sister. She sees me and gets immediately concerned. I've now been hyperventilating for over 30 minutes. She starts calling 911, and I decide to go into the bedroom and lay down on the bed to hopefully calm down my breathing. Once on the bed, suddenly I get a tingling feeling. Now, I'm sure all of you have felt that tingling feeling. Remember when your arm falls asleep and when the blood returns, you get that tingling? Well, that's what I was feeling, only it was from the tips of my toes to the top of my head. Now I'm really concerned. And in about 10 minutes, an ambulance shows up. I'm still hyperventilating and the tingling is still going on. I don't know if they were paramedics or not, but it was a man and a woman. The man tells me I'm just hyperventilating, and they walk me out to the ambulance. They take me to the Leahy Clinic, one of those hospitals I drove by. Once in the emergency room, I tell the doctor and nurse about the tingling, and they see the hyperventilating. As they start hooking up the electrodes to my chest, I ask the doctor if they will be sticking any needles in me, because I really don't like needles. He tells me they probably will. So I say to him, how about if the tingling and the hyperventilating stop? To which he responds, we'll see. At that moment, the tingling and the hyperventilating stopped. It was like I was back to normal. I sat up and I said, "Hey, doc, it stopped." He responded by saying to the nurse, "Wow, look at this," as he pointed to the monitor. Then I say, "Does this mean no needles?" To which he responded, "Well, no, we're probably still going to have to get some blood." At that point, I fell back on the table. While I was down, I remember the feeling of someone sitting on my chest and me trying to push them off. I also remember something else. Now, I know a lot of people talk about seeing a white light during such experiences, but what I recall was looking up and seeing a white cloud in the distance. I thought I saw people waving at me, but couldn't make them out. I later thought they were sort of waving at me to stay where I was. Then suddenly I woke up. They had hit me twice with the paddles to get my heart beating in rhythm again. I now had 4 or 5 doctors around me, one on each arm sticking needles into me, ironically. They were having trouble getting a needle into one of my veins. Then one of them said, "We're going to have to try another part of his body." Now, I didn't know where he was talking about, but I certainly didn't want to find out. I shouted out, "No, keep trying the arms." You see, while doctors may be great at doctor stuff, they're not so good at being phlebotomists. Right then, a nurse came in, took the needle from one of the doctors, and hit a vein on the first try. Once she got an IV in me, they were able to give me a shot of TPA, a clot-busting drug that was somewhat new at the time. Once they give you the shot, they can't stick a needle in you or you will bleed out. Now, I would spend about a week in the hospital and miss a couple of months of work, but eventually make a full recovery. My point to you is, while you may not think this can happen to you, I'm here to tell you it can. I was fortunate to survive ignoring many of the warning signs. You may not be as lucky as I was that fateful day in September 1996. Madam Contest Master or Toastmaster.
The first evaluation we're going to do is going to be for Dawn. We were going to do a round robin, which isn't typical, but we're doing it for the purposes that Dawn wants to get the most input for his feedback for the contest that he's going to be in. So how a round robin works is that we're going to pick a couple people. You get like 1 to 2 minutes. So it's going to be very brief to give him feedback on what you saw that worked, what didn't work, and maybe a challenge to for improvement. Like you could offer him to challenge himself by doing XYZ as a suggestion. So who would like to go first for the first? Before we do that, how long do we give the whole round robin? Is it 5 minutes for the whole round robin? 3?
I would just move along with a couple of points for each. It doesn't have to be long.
So it doesn't have to be
So
timed.
I'm going to go first.
Okay, thank you.
So Don, what I saw is that I was distracted by your hat. You couldn't see your face. Now, I know you like to wear the hat, but what I might suggest is maybe you can wear it back further so we can see your face, because it was really dark like this. And I wanted to see your face, And of course, the other thing is you do have some hand gestures, but you don't move. And it would be nice if you could move a little more side to side, I guess. You seem too stoic until you had a couple of the gestures that you did. I'm sorry about my voice. I have allergies and it's sounding froggy. But anyway, those are the 2 comments that I would suggest.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tom.
Thank you. Don, I really liked the And I've seen this a couple of times, and I think you've improved tremendously on it. Now, I just want to add to what Shirley said. Maybe, and it's not that difficult if you have the scenes change, maybe you can add some animation to that. When the basketball hoops is behind you, you can throw the ball over your head and into the basket. They're not that difficult to do, and I can help you out with that. Other ones, maybe just a couple of more slides, a couple more background slides. Driving and sweating, maybe a slide with sweat coming down on your face, right? In an animation form, maybe even a cartoon clip will help. As I said, I love the background. I think a little bit more. The hand on your heart worked well. The heavy breathing works well. I would add to what Shirley said, just maybe a little more movement with that. You are standing in one place for a long period of time. Use a little bit more of the stage. We saw you perfectly. Good job.
Thank you.
Andy, you want to go next?
Thank you. Don, I've seen this several times at the club, and you're getting better each time. When one looks at a speech that really hits you between the eyes, that calls you to remember it, the one thing that might help you is to start off your speech a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is if you started off by saying, do you know what the signs of a heart attack are? And list 2 or 3 things: sweating, hyperventilating, chest pain with your hand over your chest. If you know these signs, it could save your life. I ignored my signs and then go into your story. But that catches them right away because it makes it personal. Do I know the signs of a heart attack? Do I know what to do? And then you tell your story. And then finish it with a wrap up the back. Had I only known these signs and been able to respond to them appropriately, I may have not had as severe damage as I have from my heart. Something like that. So you have a closed loop, you catch your attention right away with a powerful opening statement, and then you go into your story.
Well, my only concern is the title is trying to imply something about a lucky man at a bachelor party, and I'm trying to get the people or the audience to think about that and not the heart attack. What I may do, that I appreciate that suggestion, Andy. What I may do is put that at the end when I say, my point to you is, do you know the signs of a heart attack? Maybe I'll put it into that. But I'm trying to sort of give the idea that this is going to be a story about how I got lucky at a bachelor party. But I didn't. I got lucky after the bachelor party by surviving it. And that's what I'm trying to communicate in the story. But that's a great suggestion. The other question I have, and I know there's other comments coming, is the first time I did this, I wore a suit because I always wear a suit to these speeches. This time I decided to dress up more like I was going to a party. And that's why I wore the hat, Shirley. And I will tip that up a little bit because I'm going to practice this some more and I may see that. But I'll ask Jim, do you think I should wear a suit or do you think it's more appropriate to wear something like this?
I love the hat. No, I think that some of the things that I noticed, I don't think you need a suit. Maybe you need to dress like LeBron. Maybe you need your hat on backwards. I don't know. But I love the addition of the screen. I thought that was really well done, although you tended to kind of melt in with some of your gestures. I should talk. Remember, when you're gesturing for the audience, not for yourself. So on Zoom, they're a little bit too quick. So when you talked about the 3 hospitals, they went rather quickly. One addition that you might want to add is you thought that a cigarette might help you. Maybe you might want to add a cigarette cartoon from one of the popular cigarette characters. You also might want to use your own voice a little bit more when you talk about no needles. You know, maybe heighten it a little bit so that we're kind of there with you when you have that voice coming out. And you mentioned that you were going to talk about that you never played basketball again, and I'm not sure you did it this time. I liked I liked Tom's suggestion. So if you do want to say you never played basketball again, if you can put a basket in without looking behind you, that might not be a bad way to have it happen near the end.
I have no idea how to do that. I was pretty proud of the fact I was able to get these
well.
3 images changed the way I did.
Well, Tom will shoot it for you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you do is you take a picture of you throwing the ball out of your hand, then the next thing have somebody else dunk it in the basket with them out of sight. So all you see is you throwing it out and then continues with it going in.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
have a video of that. That's
I like
And
the
thi-
idea of having 3 though. You did two backgrounds. If you could find one more, you know,
I
maybe
did,
like he
I
said,
did
driving.
3. I did 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was
I
3?
did the curtain, then I did
Yeah.
the basketball hoop, and then I did the emergency room.
Oh, the curtain. I was thinking about when you opened it. Sorry,
Mhm. Right.
but you're calling the curtain one. Okay.
All right,
And
so
I
we'll bring
also
the
have-
round
Go ahead.
robin back into order a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay,
I-
sorry.
Usually we just have one person speak, they finish, and the next person goes. But I appreciate, Don, that you did have questions you want answered, and it's for a specific purpose. So I wanted to respect that. I had a little feedback for you as well. I think you did a great job with your eye contact with the audience. Your volume was good. You projected well. I also agree with the gestures that's already been mentioned, the backgrounds and those sorts of things. And I wanted to know, I liked the hook that you had, that I didn't know what was happening to you. You're hyperventilating. And then my image froze. And I was like, did he have a heart attack? Was it a heart attack? And so like finally when it came back, you're like, I had a heart attack. I had the panels. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you had a heart attack. So I actually appreciated the fact that you didn't say it up front. And that kept me drawn in the whole time, because I'm like, okay, so what is it? He mentioned the hospital. We're probably going back to the hospital, but what for? You know, so I did appreciate that you didn't tell us right up front. And like Jim said, bringing back, you know, I didn't ever play basketball again after that. That'd give it some humor. So I think it was a great job. Again, you've improved it again. I'm sure it's going to be even better the next time. And all the best to you at the competition.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So